Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. It's no secret that I love bags. This is a bag that I've had for a while now, that I've took my time to test, to use, and I genuinely think I've fallen in love with this. What we're here today to look at is the Jones 15 from NutSac. It's a beautifully US made satchel, and yeah, let's just get into it. So here we have the Jones 15. Honestly, I love this. The smell, I mean I can smell it from here, but full grain leather, it just has a certain smell to it. Yeah, right. Anyway, so I need to stop just mewing over this. As we usually do, we'll go into some measurements. We'll go and we'll have a look at some of the materials, and then we'll have a look at some of the features on here itself. Now, as this is a product from the good old US of A, we'll do this in old-fashioned inches. It comes in at 15 inches across the bottom, 10.5 inches from the top to the bottom, and is roughly 3.5 inches deep. This is made from a full grain leather. I know I kind of ruined that to start off with, but it just feels so nice, and the smell that you get from this is incredibly nice as well. As far as the materials are concerned through this, the vast majority of this is all made from this same leather. There is some canvas lining on the inside, which we will have a look at, and also the strap as well. So this is made from a canvas kind of webbing. I'm not too sure. I'll see if I can find out exactly what the webbing is, but it feels more like a cottony, so it has more of a twill to it. It could be that it is a nylon webbing, but because they have this brushed twill to it, it has more of a natural feeling. And then all of the parts that you have on here, so these are all antique brass parts, and that being, you know, so they are made from brass, but they've had a finishing on them so that it has a weathered antique look to it. Now, whilst I'm talking weathering, it is important to talk about this with a beautiful leather bag like this. So there are a few different ways that you can go into owning something. Now, for me personally, I've had this now for a while, actually. I've had this now since, I think it was either January or February. So I've took a little bit longer to make this content than I'd usually do. And that's because of my hands. Natural full grain leather like this, after some time, will have its own patina. You can see in the corners here where I keep my notebooks. On the bottom, because I've had this in the footwell and the passenger side of my car, apparently there are some small little kind of rocks in there that I hadn't noticed. So it's got its own little kind of scratches to it. On the front here has a little scratch. If I was to scratch it like that, you can see it there. But over time, the oils and the salts that you know are in your skin, you'll find that it will have its own patina. Some of the leather will change slightly different colours. You might even find as well, when you look on the NutSac website, that when yours arrives, the kind of some of the tones through the leather will be ever so slightly different, and that's because this is a natural material at the end of the day. The tanning process will try and make it as uniform as possible, but over time, over months and years, it will develop its own look and feel. Now, that's one of the ways that you can go with it. That's the way that I'm certainly going with mine. Or the other one is that you can get some leather treatment. Now, there are two versions of this. Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two. The other way. Anyway, sorry. So this is in the oxblood. There is also a black version as well. So depending on which one you have, there are leather treatments that you can similar to, you know, maybe not necessarily doing your shoes, but it will help to keep the colour more uniform and stop some of the patinaing. It's completely down to you and how you prefer it to look. But considering this is the Jones 15 named after Indiana Jones. I want it to look weathered, and I know that, you know, you can put this through the ringer and the quality of the leather will always hold out. Now, I did mention, I kind of fumble my words on the two versions of this. So this is the 15-inch. There is also a 13-inch version of this. So if this one is a little bit too big for you and you prefer something a little bit smaller, then you can get the 13-inch version. The reason that I went for the 15-inch version of this is because it will fit a 15-inch laptop. Now, as you may have seen in another piece of content I've released recently, I do on a daily basis use a 16-inch laptop. It does still fit in here. There's just a little bit of way that you just have to rearrange things, but what I would say is, if you are considering getting this to fit a 16-inch laptop, is just double check your measurements to make sure they'll fit in. I know mine will fit in, and I can still zip it up, but with just a little bit of rearranging. Now, to have a look through the actual features themselves, it's a fairly traditional satchel as far as satchels go. On the front here, rather than having a clasp on the front that you'd pass the leather through, it does still have a leather tongue that passes through this little stay here, and instead they have a small stud on this which you can lift up, and that will allow it to open. Putting it back down, you just have to push it on there and it keeps it in good place. Through the front here, it's fairly minimal. Again, on the sides, fairly minimal. On each of the sides, so you have this stitched loop on here, which is where your strap will attach, and it's exactly the same on the other side. This is where you have this really nice antiqued brass fixtures and fittings, and then through the sides, fairly plain. Which again, I certainly wouldn't want this not to be plain, because it just has that beautiful, fairly traditional satchel look and feel to it. On the flip side, through here, there is another slip pocket here if I lift this up. So maybe if you want to put something in here, maybe if you're traveling, or you just have documents that you use quite a bit whilst you're out and about, then you can put those in there. Or you can put your mobile phone in there whilst you're out and about, because it keeps this close to you, and then you can take your mobile phone out and you've just got that there. But that goes all the way across, so this full measurement, sorry, just not the camera, but that full measurement from here to here is that full size. And then at the top here you have your grab handle, which again is fairly traditional for a leather satchel like this. There's some good weight in this as well. It really does feel nice. Let's just move that out there for a second. So on the front, I did mention, so you have this tongue that goes through. You lift that and then it will pull that up, and then you have the flap. Now this has this same linen which is in the lining of this as well, which is really nice. On the inside now, you'll start to see some of the zippers on here. So these are YKK zippers. There is a zipper on the inside as well, which again we'll look at, but throughout of this, they're all YKK, and they're all the newer RC style YKK zippers, which are super smooth. So on the front here, you also have another quick access pocket. Very useful, again, maybe if you're traveling. This is also lined with the same with the same liner on here. Now, what I will point out is, so this goes from here all the way down to the bottom and uses the full width of this of the front panel. So again, being able to put your mobile phone in there is great. Now it doesn't, some of them do this. On this one they've decided not to. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's just an observation. But where this seam is here, so this seam where you can see the stitching on the outside there, that is the top of this pocket. So this area here across the top, you can't use that just in case you need to get a larger item into there. Again, I think on the time that I've been using this, especially on days when I've just been out in the city, or I've just been doing day breaks, or I've been to see clients and we've gone for some lunch, certainly haven't had any issues with that, because for EDC, as I mentioned, just being able to slip maybe your car keys in here, slipping your mobile phone into here is just right. But to add an extra little feature to this, so the YKK zip has one of a little leather pull tab on here, and it's the same leather that is used throughout here. Now lifting this up slightly, there is a rain hood to this. Just in case some water does get in, which hopefully it shouldn't, mainly because you are going to have this flap over the top there, but there is a rain hood which will protect the zips as well, and it is also an ambi open, which I never understand why people don't make them ambi open, and I'm glad that it is on here. It uses the same YKK zippers, and then you also have the same pulls on here as well. So you can pull this down. Now as far as the open is concerned, definitely not what you consider a clamshell. So if I put that back down here again, if that's your 10 inches, this probably comes up about 8 inches up to the side to make sure that what you've got in here doesn't splay open when it opens out. So I will say, so getting your stuff in and out, not particularly difficult, but what I do find is if you just take the top, these flaps here as I do there, and just roll them over, it just makes it an extra little bit easier to be able to get to the bits that are on the inside. Again, not a negative, not a positive, it's just more of an observation. Now on the inside here, you do have plenty to keep yourself organised. Now the first thing that I do is that I'm going to go to this back section here, which is where I have a 15-inch laptop in here, and it does fit in perfectly. Now I did mention at the beginning of this that sometimes, depending on what I'm doing with clients when I go and see them, I will take the smaller one. But on occasions when I need to do a little bit more, if it's for a symposium or whatever, then I will take my large one. That will not fit. It's ever so close to being able to fit, but it just won't fit in the dedicated laptop sleeve that's here at the back. However, instead, what I'll do is I'll just rearrange this ever so slightly, and instead I'll put some of my tablets, I'll put those things into the laptop sleeve, and then instead I'll put my laptop into the main section, and it still fits. And when I say still fits, I mean it will fit, and I can fold these over, I can still zip it up and get everything in there so that it's nice and secure. But again, it is designed for a 15-inch laptop. I'm kind of pushing this to its limits. But if you are considering a 16-inch laptop, make sure you just double check the measurements, and I'll say some of them will fit. Mine certainly does. So if I just take that out for a second. Here is the laptop sleeve. All of this has the same linen lining, which is so nice. I know we're used to a lot of nylons, we're used to a lot of man-made materials, but having these in here, it's just a different feel. But what I will say is the feel that you get from this is certainly a feel of quality. I know I haven't mentioned this, and I try to stay clear of kind of talking about heirloom bags, but I definitely think that this is an heirloom style bag. I could easily hand this down to grandchildren in years from now, and I'm sure they'll still be able to get a lot of use from this. So there's your laptop sleeve at the back. There is also, actually, let's just take this out for a second. That's my charger for my laptop. There is this large section in here as well, so that you can put extra items into, which there's plenty of room, and an additional zip pocket here at the back, which I've got some notes in and different bits I doodle with. So this is a large zipped off section there, super easy to be able to get into. Now on the front of the bag, so you do have a small NutSac, some branding here, nice and subtle, plus as well it certainly fits in with the rest of the branding in here. These are made in the USA. I think if you check the website, it says that some of the parts are imported, but the vast majority, and I'm guessing it'll be things like the zips, or it'll be things like it'll be the clasps, but the rest of this is certainly USA made. And then you have these two additional pockets in here, which again, I have more bits for notes, and I have an A3 notepad which fit in there perfectly. Now sometimes if I am having to kind of do a bit of a move around, if I do need to get things like my laptop cables and stuff, these will also fit in these large pockets as well. So when I mentioned getting my 16-inch laptop in here, just having to do a little bit of gymnastics to get everything to fit, it's one of the things that you can do to get a 16-inch laptop in here. So very nice. What I'll also state is, so the inside, all of the points where you have a lot of the stitching, it all has this really nice reinforced bit in here. Everything in this is made to an incredibly high standard, and then once you're done, you can put everything back in, and then you're good to go to the office. Now what I'd say is that this is predominantly, I would say, designed to do your commute. It's designed to take your laptop into work. If you're wanting to spend just that extra little bit more to treat yourself to something like this, then it's perfect for that. I will say that trying to maybe get your laptop in here, then maybe, I know, your gym kit for the evening with maybe some shoes or something, it's not really for that. You can fit more into this, but hopefully, as you've seen there, it's getting towards the maximum that you can put in here. So if you need your gym kit, that sort of stuff, it's probably something that you'll keep separate in a different bag. Now onto the strap on here, so you can actually take these off. So if I bring this up for a second, hopefully you get these. You can see you get these really nice meaty clasps. You pull down on these, and then it pinches open like that. And they go on to the side with no difficulty, unless, obviously, as I've mentioned several times, you try and do something on camera and it ultimately becomes incredibly difficult just because you're filming yourself. But this is a nice wide, I think it's 2 inches with 40, so it's 1.5 inches, which is 40 millimeters. Not had any issues with this rubbing on my neck at all. It's in the summer now, so it is getting a little bit warmer. Not had any issues with it whatsoever. Now, as I mentioned, it does have a bit of a nap to this. It does have a kind of a brushed texture to it, which again I think is nice. It fits perfectly, and it's completely in tone with the rest of the bag. Extra little bits on here, like where you've got extra bits for the webbing, just to hold bits down again. They've got really nice leather touches to that, and then also you have a padded shoulder section, so that when this is on, it will fit just right, and it also stops it from sliding around an extra little bit as well. It's been a couple of days when it's been raining and I've been out with this. Oh yeah, by the way, as far as raining is concerned, this is great. The water just runs off it. Now if you're caught in heavy rain, you'll find that it will get wet, but I've not had any issues with keeping anything inside this. But with heavy rain, you know, you need to get out of the rain anyway, because, well, it's heavy rain. You shouldn't be in it with electronics, but it's done a very good job at keeping everything dry in here. As far as the finish on this, as I mentioned, it just kind of goes off. If you wanted to add some more finish to that, then you can do, and it'll add an extra layer of protection. Last little bit, I forgot to mention, so you got the NutSac logo here, but there is also another NutSac logo here on the side. It's just an absolutely stunning bag. As I mentioned, if you're after something just as to kind of, I don't know, a treat to yourself for being good, or I don't know, whatever it is, this is an incredibly high value bag, and it's absolutely stunning. I work in the pharmaceutical industry, so I get to go in, I talk to professors, I talk to faculty members, I talk to people within big pharma. This, what it is one of the bags that when I go in, I've had so many people asking me about this and where I got it from. It genuinely is a stunning bag. I know I said at the beginning of this, I think I've fallen in love with this bag. I genuinely think I have. It's great for the office. It's absolutely amazing for the office. Heads will turn as you walk in the room. It's also great for EDC. I know we've talked a lot about 15 inches, but you can also fit a 16-inch laptop in there. But not having laptops in, if you just want to carry it for an EDC bag and just have something that's a bit different, have something that's a little bit more refined with a little je ne sais quoi, I think the Jones 15 is the bag for you. Yeah, I'm kind of smitten on this. Natural materials. I think a lot of people fall into two ballparks: natural materials or man-made materials. Yeah, I'm a massive X-Pac snob, but I'm also a massive leather snob. That sounded weird, but yeah, very nice. Now, I want to say a huge thank you to the NutSac team for sending this my way. Full disclosure, this was sent to me. However, I have an excellent relationship with them. Had I have not liked this, one, you would either have not seen the content, or two, as I've pointed out, there are a few things that I'd possibly change about this, and they are open and understanding of my own opinions on this. So huge thank you to the NutSac team. Now, I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from this and where you can pick one of these up from. I'll also leave some of my social media links below here on Moorlander EDC and also my sister channel. And whether you're watching this here on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Windy today. Make sure we're plugged in. You need to make sure you're plugged in. I love a bit of leather. I like the feel of leather on my thighs. That sounded wrong. Anyway. Oh, we're level. No, we're not level. There we are. Beautiful. Like your cut, G. Now here, it's 30 straight seconds of me sniffing. Just smells so good. One last one. Smells so good. It's definitely going in the bloopers, of course. Hope you're having a good week. I wasn't expecting to see me sniffing this so much. Just smells so good. I sniff this more than I do my wife. I shouldn't have admitted that. Anyway, where were we? Have a great day. Sniff it more than I sniff my wife. Can't believe I said that.